Hello again, people. So today is the day I'm going to be putting in the AutoMeter dash in my 72 Nova. So here are some of the things that I'm going through. First of all, I got to take the switches and so on out of this the existing dash. So that's what I'm working on now. So I got to take the wiper switch out and the headlight switch and this vent. So now I'm just going to work on this and start transferring this to the new dash. All right, so let's get busy with that. So I want to show you guys what's going on here with the new dash, this guy here. So you can see that I've got the version with the SS Nova with air conditioning. So I've got the two open slots, all right. So the one on this side here, I'm having to do some modifications to because it was made wrong. Here's why. See that little stand right there? That guy right there? So I had to cut that off because it was like this one. Straight up, fairly high, which it should be. But the one on the back here should not be, because with it as high as it was, you see I've cut it down and I've also laid it back. See if I can get a good shot of it there. See how it's sort of canted backwards there? The reason is, when you look at this vent here, it's got two little saddles on both sides. Right there. See that square part at the end of my little pinky finger? Same one on both sides. What was happening is that saddle was riding up too high here, and when you went to turn it, it would hit the edge of those guys right there. That part. It's supposed to be back here, which is why I laid it backwards. So now, when I set it in there, you can see now, it lays back away from those ledges, right? The reason you want to back away from that is so this guy will turn. Okay. When it was up too high, like that, it would do that. See? And that ain't going to work. So it's got to be this way, so that it turns properly. So that thing was set in the wrong place. So I cut it with a hacksaw and took a torch and melted both that surface and the bottom of this and pushed it on there and basically welded it back on in the right place. Now the next problem I'm going to have is that now it's too high. And the problem is that you can't, better if I just show you, you can't lower this thing down too much. Okay, because you see with these edges right here, along this edge here, will hit along this edge here. So I've actually had to file this down some. This side here is fine. It seems that that was molded correctly, but this one here was way too high by about 1/8 of an inch. So I've cut this down about 1/8 of an inch. So now this sits in there, and as it comes down through there, it goes in there real nice. Before it was hitting it like this, and it wouldn't turn in. So once I filed it down, now it turns in good. So that modification, along with the pedestal in the back, now allows this thing to turn correctly. But now with that as high as it is, you can't lower this down anymore. Otherwise, this is going to hit these edges on both sides. So it must remain that high. But here's what happens if you put this on now. So this fits right about there. See those holes line up. And then it sits on this louver now. So on the inside of there, it turns good. But look at the gap. See, it doesn't fit flush. Okay. So it was definitely made wrong. So what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of spacers here. I'm going to put these guys in. So here it is, all installed. You can see the little spacers I put in there. Sorry about the focus. It's kind of hard to get this piece of junk camera to focus. So we've got the spacers in there. All the foam insulation in it. And this is how it works. Nice and smooth. So hopefully it turns out good for you too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I've got the dash wired now. So that's what I've got so far. This is the gauge side harness, and you can see that it's got the plug right there. That plugs into the main harness, which is down there. So I'm getting ready to drop the steering wheel down and test fit this in there. At the same time, when you slide it in, you got to put in the vent AC controls into the back of this panel, so that's going to be a little bit tricky. So we'll see how that works out. So finally got it to fall into place there. It was a little bit of a coercing, that's for sure. That's fitting up in there. So here's one little difference I noticed is, here, let me get some light on it here, 1 sec. So here's what I'm talking about. So that fits up against there, which is entirely different from the original dash. I don't know why it has this facing piece right here, because the original dash just had this side piece and it slid in right inside there. This is fitting on the front of there. I'm not sure if I like that or not. I mean, if that's where it rests, I guess I'm good with that, but we'll have to see, because it doesn't look like it goes back all the way. We'll see how that works out. So it's all plugged in, and I'm getting ready to turn on some lights. So we'll see how that looks here in a minute. All right, well, she's hooked up, and I want to show you what the dash lights look like. I'm rather pleased with it. So here's what it looks like. All right, I just switched hands here so that I can start it up and show you the tech.